Hi everyone. So I totally did not expect the video to kind of blow up the way it did, and I'm so grateful for all the kind messages and everyone's support here in my community with military and just online and people I've never met being so absolutely kind to me. So I figured I should introduce Liam, who was the little guy and star player of, that whole video. We just got home from a doctor's appointment, so I think I'm gonna explain his birth story a little more than what you guys were able to see, and his journey in the NICU, and then us being back home now. My doctor's appointment that day was at 2:30 p.m. At 2:30 p.m. I was 5 centimeters dilated, so I had to go to the doctor. It was the safest option to just be induced with Pitocin. When I got there, I was 6 centimeters dilated. Then they started the Pitocin. I stayed at 7 for about 2 hours, which then they broke my water. Within 10 minutes of them breaking my water, I thought the pains were just too much. I wanted to do it naturally, but I also never planned to do it without Jesse. So I went to the bathroom. I took care of some business. I was having really, really difficult contractions that I just couldn't take anymore. So I was on FaceTime with Jesse the whole time. So I told him, look, I didn't plan on doing this without you. Like, you're the one that gives me more strength. I'm just gonna ask for the epidural. So I went outside. I asked the nurse for the epidural. She called the anesthesiologist and she left the room for a couple of minutes. By the time she was back, I was having the baby. So the room was clear. I had a family friend there that he was able to come last minute, a doctor from the family. And then I told him, hey, baby's coming. I told my husband, hey, baby's coming, all within minutes of, probably within 15 minutes of them breaking my water. I thought I needed the epidural because with JJ, I had an 18-hour labor and I still had like an hour, 2 hours left after they broke my water. So I was like, no way am I doing this amount of pain for that long. Well, it was that amount of pain because as soon as I got in bed, I started pushing like the baby was coming. And within 2 minutes, he was born. So then I was able to hold him right away, cut the cord, but then they noticed some kind of like wheezing and noise and grunting, and there was fluid in his lungs. So with him being a 36-weeker, a preemie, a boy, us being in Colorado with, the oxygen levels that it was, and the fact that labor was only 2 minutes, and the pushing out is supposed to kind of like activate their lungs and kind of push out the liquids that are in there. That didn't happen. So as I was only able to hold him for a little bit, and then they took him away. They were like 20 feet away from me, and just a bunch of nurses just trying to like do some pressure thing to kind of relieve and help him breathe a little better. And they were working with him for about an hour in front of me. And I just sat there in bed in pain, like with everything postpartum wise. Everything was natural. And I had Jesse on FaceTime and I just kept crying. I was just like, they kept saying that everything was normal according to like, all the things I said, 36 weeks and whatever. But to me, it wasn't normal. I mean, normal would have been him being on me, him latching, him breastfeeding, me holding him, my husband being there. But nothing about that had been normal. And I just sat there watching them work on him, being far away from me without me being able to do anything. It was one of the most traumatic experiences I've ever gone through. I don't think I'll ever forget something like that. That being said, I mean, we were in the NICU for about 4 days. Once I was able to recover well enough, I was able to visit him a few hours later, in which the nurses made it seem like we were gonna be there for weeks, for just a really long time. And I was really confused because at first we were told, oh, he's borderline, we're just gonna be safe and take him to the NICU. And once I was able to visit him, they were telling me like it was gonna be so long. And I was like, what the heck? I can't do this. I had JJ at home. I didn't know what the heck I was gonna do. The next morning when I visited him, he was already off the CPAP machine. So I was, him being able to control his heat a little better and then feed. And then the heat thing went away by the end of that day. Then the next day, he was still not feeding as well as he could have been, and he was congested. Then he ended up needing to go on to the blue light. And then overnight from that, he was able to feed better, breastfeed, and take bottles. And then after that, we were able to go home 4 days later. So mind you, we saw people there that had been there 100 plus days. Like I cannot imagine the pain of those parents and those children, and just, I know my experience was very short and it was so traumatic. So I can't imagine, and I feel for other NICU parents, and it was not great. It was horrible. I hated it, and I hope to never ever be there again with any of my children. Thankfully, my mother-in-law came to my rescue, and she was able to watch JJ for a couple more days when NICU stay was extended, and I was able to come home, and she was able to help me take care of me and take care of the kids. And when she left, I was able to take care of both the kids. So I'm still here by myself, but we're doing really well. And Liam's doing really well today. He went to the doctor's appointment, and he's finally 5 pounds, 11 ounces, which is really good for him. He's almost as much as JJ was when he was born. And Jesse should be home soon, and I'm just excited to have my family all back together. So I figured I would just make this video to kind of clarify some things and update you guys on little baby Liam. He's doing great, and I'm doing great, and I'm just so grateful. So grateful. So thank you all for everything you've done for me, prayed for me, physical things you've done for me. I'm super grateful. See y'all next time.